Everybody. Today we will be going over my lesson plan. My name is Isaac Riquelme. In today's lesson plan, I used the NGSS lesson planning template. It's a template I found online. So let's get started. Let's with the lesson plan. So my goal is, well, for starters, my grade level will be the third grade. The topic is history signing of the Declaration of Independence. So history, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, and it's going to be a lesson one in a series of two lessons. I'm actually going to change that to one lesson. Um, a brief lesson description. I want students to participate in discussions, activities, demonstrating their understanding through worksheets and class participation. Here are some of the specific outcomes that I have in mind are identify key figures, recognize and name important individuals that we will go over later. Understand the event. I want students to be able to describe the Declaration of Independence and its role in American history over here. I also want them to explain the main ideas of Declaration. Not only them knowing what it is, but explaining what happens and what are key figures and events that helped out this event to occur. Now, when it comes to prior knowledge, I'll go over it in our PowerPoint that I've made for them. But um, one thing is sorry. Um, when it comes to the 13 colonies, it's something that they would know by then. The exploration in the Americas, other key figures like Christopher Columbus and how they paved the way. So when it comes to science and engineering practice, I want them to obtain, evaluate, and communicating, asking questions, defining problems, cause and effects. So what caused it, structure and function, possible misconceptions that I do feel like students might have is the vocab in certain words. So, for example, independence, they might think it means free from rules rather than understanding it's a self-governance of and freedom from external control. I feel like that will be something that kids will raise their hand and say, but like I said, I'll have that part covered. Confusion about historical figures. I do know that at this age, kids will mix up names. Um, Another thing is simplified view of historical events. Students might have a simplified view of the Declaration of Independence, not realizing that the complexities and challenges involved its creation and its signing. Yeah, they might see it as a one-time event, but yes, moving forward. When it comes to engaging section, I want to create an activities. I want to have more activities that guide students. I do really believe in the idea of scaffolding. I feel like it really gets children to participate and better understand. So I want them to I will describe how. Oh, sorry, that's the question. I want to ask them questions that they can better relate to. For example, one thing that comes to mind is imagine if someone took all of your video games away and you can't play. Things like that as a third grader is something that for them they'll take it very personally and they'll be able to relate. Also, just fun pictures. Maybe a picture of a treasure chest with the Declaration of Independence on top of it. This is just to spark curiosity. Or how about we talk about the 4th of July? Things like this are things that kids know and will be able to kind of connect to, making them more engaged. Um, I do want students to ask themselves what they know about America, create questions that they can that can seek creating questions that they can seek to solve through the activities for the day. While they participate, they have a good idea of what they're looking for. The explore part is the reader's theater. So when it comes to this, here I want students to gather around and I'm going to tell them a short story about the signing. I will create a timeline that has magnets and Velcro. This is the hands-on activity. Each event that I tell them that's leading up to the declaration, I will Velcro it out and then put it back, showing them, hey, this is the timeline of it. Now, moving forward, I do want each allowing kids to track and listen in the history of things. I will also provide a short video, which we'll get to later. Explains portion. At this stage, I want to create key terms. So this part is going to be the teaching section. So I would have my students go back to their desks and just take notes while I teach about key figures and vocab, basically. I do want to have a word wall that displays um, these vocab words. A call and response to better get an understanding if they know what it means. Act it out. Have students pretend to be these key figures. Give them a little, give them more control. Think in pairs. Have students work together. I feel like partners, individuals, when they work by themselves, it really doesn't help them. On number 4, we want to elaborate applications, extensions. Students will create a story. How about we describe how have students get together and reenact the Declaration of Independence. This is the almost to the second to the last activity. I do want kids to basically have a theater about it, make them reenact it, see what they know. One thing that it does ask is how is this knowledge applied in our daily lives? It helps them. I wrote down here, encourage students to apply critical thinking skills, which I believe is very important to develop at this age and grow and moving forward. I do want them to apply critical thinking skills they develop during the lesson to solve problems in their daily lives. For examples, they can use these skills to resolve conflicts, make fair decisions, and understand different perspectives. Comes through the lessons of how these founding fathers wanted fairness. On the lastly, evaluate. I do want to evaluate participation. I really do believe that I want kids to be participating as much as possible. I want them to be in pairs. Ask why do you think the colonies wanted independence? Let's let students discuss in pairs before sharing with the class. This one right here, I want to do as a whole class. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Ask yes and no questions. Did the colonies want to stay in Britain? Thumbs down. Was Thomas Jefferson the main writer? Thumbs up. Questions like this helps me have a better gauge on the whole class understanding, whether how my class is doing. When it comes to the summary of assessment, I want to have a ticket in and out the door. So for this, it's just simple. A small exit ticket while the kids are in line. I will ask them a question, simple questions about the lesson to see what they've learned and what they know. Um, there's one thing that I have reflected is that when it comes to history, I do understand that it can be a little bit mundane, especially if I just read it off a piece of paper. I do understand that that is not an effective way of teaching. So when it comes to history, I feel like it is my job as an educator to create content that is engaging, not just reading from a PowerPoint or a textbook, but involve children, tell a story that captivates them. So, jumping into our PowerPoint over here, um, obviously the Declaration of Independence, Mr. Riquelme. Um, let me ask, I will be, like I said, I'll ask the students, do we remember about Christopher Columbus, the 13 colonies? I want to engage children's background information to give me an idea of, okay, what do they know, and then from there jump to the next section. Obviously, this is the engaging part of, oh, kids, we would have right here the Declaration of Independence. It will make students engage, like, oh, treasure, I'm engaged now. And also, I would write down here questions like I said earlier, the questions, what if someone took your video games and you can't play no more, right? Um, or other relatable questions that get students engaged. That's the point of this, is to have kids engage. I don't want to write too much down here, just because when I feel like when students look at a PowerPoint and it has so much writing, they'll just get lost in the writing. I want kids to just be engaged as much as possible, and I believe minimal writing is as effective learning. Obviously, this is the teaching section of it. Remember how I said I want to create a timeline of things, a word wall. Here, this is this is the part where I would be doing all that. The key terms with the vocab, and then in the background we'll have the Velcro and all that good stuff. When it comes to the short video, I did say I wanted to, after my vocabs and everything, after my teaching, I do want to give them a short video, that will kind of tie everything back together. And even so, for some kids who like to watch videos, I feel like we're in an age of YouTube and online. So how about we use those resources as well? After the video, it's their turn. Get in a group of 3 to 5 and try to recreate the actions of Declaration of Independence. This is the group work. This is where kids get to participate, see what they know, and obviously that's the end of it. Like I said earlier, the last part would be the exit ticket. I will ask them simple questions. Hey, what do you remember? Or hey, who signed the Declaration of Independence? Small things like that. And just like that, it does conclude my lesson plan for history.